In this video, we are assuming that you have previously watched the video with title The Quandl API in our demo. If you haven't, you should watch that video because that video will show you how to obtain a free account in the Nasdaq.com website. And with that free account, you will get a key, a secret, very long kind of password that will allow you to access many databases from within R using the Quandl API. So if you haven't done that, you should, because otherwise you will not be able to run this code on your own. Here is the code then that we will use to access and demonstrate how to use the Quandl function in R. First of all, you install the package Quandl. Then you can get some information by typing $Quandl. And then, of course, don't forget to type library Quandl. And then here is where you will enter your secret key that you obtain in the Nasdaq.com website. Please watch this video again if you don't know what I'm talking about, because that video explains all the instructions you need to obtain this key. So the function Quandl.api_key is the function in R that you will use to enter your key. I already entered mine. Of course, it's secret. I don't want to share it with you. All right. So it's entered though. It's entered, otherwise I will not be able to run any of the following code. So here is the code that I will use to access, for example, the Missouri unemployment rate in Fred. Again, watch the video that is prerequisite for this one before you watch this, because then you will understand what this rate and how we got it is. So the function to access databases is Quandl. You need to provide different arguments to this function. There are many more, but here we're going to focus on a few of them. The most important one is the code. The code is where you specify the database name and the variable inside that database that you want to access. Then you want to tell R what type of format you want for that data once it's imported from the database. You're going to use TS because the Missouri unemployment rate is a time series that has complete observations, no missing observations, and every observation is recorded at the same frequency. So it's monthly, one observation every month, no missing data. That's a good candidate for the time series class. Then we'll say whether we want the data to be transformed or not before we import it. In Fred, it's showing as monthly. So we are going to ask that Fred gives us monthly data. Then order represents the order of the time index. Are we going to put the time series from lowest time period to highest? We are going to say, yes, we want that. We want ascending order. And then we are going to indicate the last date for which we want data. In this case, it's going to be July 31st, the month of July 2020. And then we want information about this data. We want to know what has been done to the data, what other features that are corresponding to the quality of the data that we might be interested in. Remember, that is a very important thing to know before we even start analyzing the data. So we are going to do that. We're going to access the data, and then we can do that. First, what we're going to do is, to visualize the data, because it's not too long. You wouldn't do this with a very long data set, but only to indicate to you that R has done its job. It has formatted the data as class TS, and that means for each year, it's giving us how many observations we have per year and the amount to which the observation corresponds. We can then use R commands such as head of the data, the last observations on the data. We can confirm that is TS. We can just obtain metadata by using the str command. And then we can use specific commands or functions that R has for the TS class of data. We can use the start. It will tell us when the data starts, and it says here that is January 1976. We can indicate end, and here it's telling us that the end date is July 2020. And I guess we don't want to see it again. We already saw it. Let's access another data set, the California unemployment rate. California unemployment rate, we do the same for it. We use the Quandl function. We call that data TS3. We say in the code argument what database and what variable name we want from that database. Similar characteristics as the TS2. Time series class is what we want. We want mostly data. We want it in ascending order by the time index, and the last observation should be July 2020. And we also want to know what has been done to that data in Fred or in the source where Fred got this data from. So again, we can view what are the first observations, what are the last observations, what kind of data we have. It's TS, again, we confirm metadata. Notice how we have the name of the data, whether it's seasonally adjusted, the units of observation, their percent, very important. And the last time the data was refreshed, these are live databases. They are constantly checking the quality of their data and updating it. So this is very important also. Then we have date value. They tell us the frequency of the data, the type of data that it is, time series data, and then the start date and the end date of what you are importing into what you're reading. Actually, you're not really importing the data, monthly and so on. So you need to read all this to know what you're getting. Then because it's TS, you can use again a start. So we see that this one also starts in January 1976 and ends in July 2020. And you can visualize again the data set, the time series in the format that R uses, which is 12 observations because it's monthly per year. So we access another one now, but now we want to change the database. The database that we're going to use now is the United Kingdom Office of National Statistics database. And the variable that we want from that is the MGSX_M, which is the overall unemployment rate. Again, we use the Quandl function that specify the new database in the code argument. We also want TS, we want it monthly, ascending order, then so on, etc., etc. So we do the same that we did for the other time series that we read using the Quandl API. So the API has put us in contact now with these databases and these variables. So they are now available to us. We haven't downloaded them to our computer. We haven't had to import them. We access them directly from the database. And now we can do anything you can do with time series in R with the times TS class. The first thing we're going to do is just plot. Okay, so we're going to only plot this time. And the time plot that we are going to construct is going to be done with the plot.ts function. Plot.ts takes a time series, and because it knows it's a time series, it's going to give us a plot that shows time on the horizontal axis. And that's what we want. We want plots that always have time in the horizontal axis when we are first visualizing the data, okay, for the first look at the data. So we do this plot, and you can see that we are putting first the, which was the first one that we looked at. Let's go back. If we forgot, we had first the Missouri unemployment rate. So that you are seeing in that plot on the right is the Missouri unemployment rate. Then we are going to put the California unemployment rate time series in the same plot. And then we're going to put the United Kingdom overall unemployment rate in the same plot. So we have now 3 time series in the same plot. The plot is a time plot because we have time on the horizontal axis, the measurement in the vertical axis, and the observations are connected by lines. In this case, we use different type of lines to distinguish the time series one from another. And we put a legend so that we can see which one is which, otherwise we wouldn't know. And as you can see, this plot is saying that the California unemployment rate overall has been higher than the Missouri unemployment rate, mostly overall. We can see that all the time series were very affected by the COVID pandemic in 2020. And we can say that the overall UK unemployment rate, at least up to between the period 1980 to 2000, has been higher than for these 2 states, but then it has become almost the same or lower after 2000. So these are general descriptions, the first descriptions that you do of a time series using time plots. I want to also introduce you to another type of plots that we could do with each of these time series, and this is a digraph. So if you install the package digraph, you can do more interactive plots. So we are going to do a plot of the Missouri unemployment rate using a digraph. Now, notice how these graphs are different, right? This digraph is different. It allows us to see at each point what is the time of observation. Now, these are monthly unemployment data. So you can see that each dot is giving us the month and the year. And at the same time, you can also use the slider at the bottom to see more detail so that you can observe the shorter periods of time, right? And the more you narrow the band within the window of data that you want to see, the more detail you will see. That depends on what your objectives are. So you look, but it's nice that you can have all these in one plot and look observation by observation. And again, this digraph is also a time plot. The time plot is the plot that has time on the horizontal axis, observation on vertical, and the observations are connected by lines. These are the plots you need to do your first exploratory analysis of the general features of the time series. So whether you use a time plot like the one we did before or a digraph, you need to do a time plot. Okay, so I hope you find this presentation useful, and please do not forget to watch the video, the Quandl API in our demo, if you haven't watched it yet. If you haven't, this presentation probably looked a little confusing to you. So please watch this video and then go over this presentation again. Thank you for listening.